What's up, everyone? This is Nate, and I'm back with another Out of the Theater review. Now, very excited about this one. This is a movie that does not open until December 22nd, but I was able to get into an early screening, which was a little hectic, by the way, because they made it sound like we may not get in, all like the 10 of us that were standing outside for 2 hours. But I made it into the theater for a little movie called The Iron Claw. This is the latest movie from A24. Of course, it is a true story based on the Von Erich family, a very famous wrestling family. And I was excited to see this one. It was one of the last few that I wanted to see before kind of working on my best of the year list. So I had to check it out, and I was able to. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you my review. Completely spoiler free. But before I do, please, if you would consider subscribing to the channel, if you're not already, go ahead and hit the bell icon. That way you get notified every time new reviews drop. I do these every single week. So you get a new theatrical review every single week. Alex unboxes statues. I do top 5 list. We got a lot of content. We go live every 2 weeks. So if you like those sort of things, just consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up and a comment down below if you're excited to see this movie as well. All right. I will preface my review with this. I think this is important to say. If you don't know any of the story of the Von Erichs, I strongly suggest you do not look it up before going to see this movie. I am familiar with them because I used to be a big wrestling fan when I was younger. Now, a little bit less so. I do still follow it. I don't watch it every week or anything like that. But when I was younger, I was super into wrestling. So I am familiar with Kerry Von Erich specifically because he was in WWF when I was a kid. But I'm familiar with the story. So for me, watching the movie was a little different than I think for certain other people. A couple other people in the theater reacted very differently than I did to a lot of scenes because I think they were not familiar with the story. And I would say that's probably the best way to go in. If you've never heard of them, keep not hearing of them. Go watch the movie. And then if you want to look stuff up after, do that. I will say it seemed very accurate to life. Certain things were dramatized, but for the most part, it follows the beats of the actual story. This is a fantastic movie. It is absolutely fantastic. It is a little quieter than I thought it might be with the wrestling stuff. There's definitely wrestling scenes in it. So if you're a wrestling fan, I think you'll get a lot out of those scenes. You know, they do have people who come in and interpret famous wrestlers from the 70s, 80s, Harley Race, Ric Flair, guys like that. You know, they kind of look like them, but they went more so for the capture the personality. I think they did a great job. It's some no-name guy. I don't even know who those guys were, but they did a good job. And the wrestling scenes are good, but they're not really what the story's about. The story really is about this family, these brothers. Kevin Von Erich, he's the one we spend the most time with. He is played by Zac Efron. And I'll just say right now, I think it's the best performance he's ever done. I've never seen him better in something else. And I like Zac Efron. I think I like him in comedies, but I think he's talented. He is really, really good in this. Like, really good in this. So I thought his performance was great. Honestly, everyone gives fantastic performances. Lily James is great. Jeremy Allen White is great. You know, certain people have more screen time than others, but I thought everybody was great. I forget the one brother, the actor's name, but I think he was the guy from Triangle of Sadness, and he's really good too. Maura Tierney, which was crazy. I told my cousin I was with, I was like, that's the mom from Liar Liar, and now she's doing this very dramatic role. She's great in it as well. Like, top-notch acting across the board. It is a very dramatic film. There was tears, I heard, sniffles and tears throughout the theater. I did not. Of course, I'm just a robot. But I heard other people crying and sniffling. So I will say it does go to some places like that. So well done. Again, the wrestling scenes are great. So if you are into that, if you're not into wrestling, it doesn't take up like a huge chunk of the runtime. It's not all about that. They do use it as a backdrop to show the relationship between this father and his sons and these brothers. So, you know, it is sort of the background of what they're using to tell this story. There's some really tough scenes in this movie. You really feel for the characters. I think because the acting was so good. Like my cousin mentioned, it almost feels like a documentary at times, and it does. Honestly, it really does. They all did a fantastic job. I was into the movie the whole time. It's about 2 hours. I felt like it was a perfect runtime. I can't think of anything I would change. With that being said, I mean, I'm really torn on a score here because I do think it is, for the type of film that it is, I didn't see any glaring flaws. I didn't think there was anything in it that was like, this is bad or this could have been better. The music is great. You know, you get a cool soundtrack. You get some good songs in here, Blue Oyster Cult and Rush, and so the songs that were in the trailers, they're in the movie, and they're really good. I want to give it a 10. I'm gonna give it a 10. I haven't given out many this year, honestly. I think I have like 3 maybe. So this is a 10 out of 10 for me. I didn't see any problems with it. I think it will definitely end up in my top 10 of the year. I thought it was a fantastic movie. I don't know if I'll go see it again when it opens, but I will definitely watch it again when it comes out, or I can buy it at home. It's just not something you throw on very often because it is kind of a heavy drama. But I mean, there's some humor in there, you know, like to break it up a little bit, especially with the interactions with the brothers. Just bring a box of tissues and come to enjoy a good film. I think you'll have a good time. 10 out of 10 for me. Way to end the year. There's still a couple more movies I got to see. But this was one of the ones that was high up on my list. So that is The Iron Claw. Go see it when it comes out on December 22nd. I highly recommend it. And I will be back next week with another Out of the Theater review. I don't know what comes out next week still, but I know everything comes out around Christmas, like Wonka and all those kind of movies. So we'll see. Whatever I see next week, I'll do a review for it. Until then, take it easy.